If oil is dying, this entire story shouldn't exist. Everyone talks about electric cars, but energy transitions don't happen evenly. Electric cars are easy to notice. Oil tankers, fertilizer plants, and cargo ships are not. Here's the uncomfortable math. More than 80% of global energy still comes from fossil fuels, and liquid fuels have something batteries don't: energy density. Gasoline packs 46 megajoules per kilogram. The best batteries struggle to hit 1. That difference isn't cosmetic, it's structural, and it explains why oil still controls global power. This isn't about climate denial, it's about physics. Planes don't run on batteries. Cargo ships don't either. Neither do mining trucks, cement kilns, or steel furnaces. Even if electric cars replace every personal vehicle, most oil use remains untouched, and replacing that infrastructure would take decades, which creates a dangerous gap, a world that wants to quit oil but still depends on it. So if oil is the problem and electricity can't replace it, what's left? Enter Aircela, carefully. A small startup claims it can solve this without new engines, without rebuilding infrastructure, by making gasoline from air.
Welcome to a new era of fuel.
Hey! What you've just seen is carbon dioxide being taken out of the air and turned into gasoline. That's incredible. It's truly incredible. I never thought the smell of gasoline would smell so good.
Right?
It's actual, and I can attest, it's actual gasoline from the air. And this happened right here in Manhattan. Right here in Manhattan on the west side.
Me and we founded this company 5 years ago with a couple of objectives in mind. First of all, we wanted to bring climate solutions into the hands of everyday people and away from the opaque and obscure domains that we cannot see or touch. Another reason, which pertains to my academic background, is that we firmly believe that if you want to make something fast and cheap, you had better mass produce it. So we have, like I said behind me, a machine that makes gasoline from air, water, and electricity. It's drop-in ready. It can be put into any car, and we get to keep and use the existing infrastructure. We now look forward to the next leg of our journey. We built number 1. Now wait and see when we build number 1 million and beyond, because that's how we're going to make an impact.
That should set off alarms, because we've heard this before. Synthetic fuels aren't new. Germany used them in WW2. South Africa still uses them today. So why hasn't this solved the problem already? Because it's brutally inefficient. This is where most miracle fuel ideas collapse. Air contains CO2, but barely, 0.04%, which means you're filtering 2,500 liters of air for 1 liter of CO2. Hydrogen isn't mined, it's made, usually from fossil fuels, which defeats the purpose, unless you use electrolysis powered by renewables. Step 3. Fuel synthesis. CO2 plus H2 equals hydrocarbons. This is chemistry we understand extremely well. The problem isn't whether it works, it's whether it works cheaply enough. This is where the math decides everything. Every step loses energy. Capture loses energy. Electrolysis loses energy. Synthesis loses energy. By the end, you might lose 70% of your input energy. That sounds terrible, but here's the twist. We waste massive amounts of energy already. Solar and wind often produce power nobody can store. So the question changes. Not, is this efficient? But is wasted energy better than no energy? This reframes the entire problem. If fuel isn't scarce, power shifts. Countries without oil gain leverage. Sanctions weaken. Energy independence changes meaning. And suddenly, Venezuela's oil matters less. Not because oil disappears, but because oil stops being rare. This isn't just about fuel, it's about control. Let's be honest, this could fail for 3 reasons. 1. Cost never drops enough. 2. renewable energy growth stalls. 3. Politics kills it before physics does. History is full of good energy ideas that never scaled. The most likely outcome isn't success, it's stagnation. So where does this leave us? Electric cars are necessary, batteries are improving, but liquid fuel still runs the world. And Aircela isn't promising a miracle, it's offering a compromise, a way to change the fuel without rebuilding civilization. So the real question isn't, will this replace oil? It's, what happens when oil stops being something you dig out of the ground and starts being something you manufacture anywhere?